Aloha and welcome to the spring 2023 edition of UHMtv, a TV magazine show written, hosted, and produced by journalism students at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I'm Kaiya Laguardia-Yonamine.
And I'm Trevor Reed. Mahalo for joining us from our College of Social Sciences Digital Studios. Coming up in this episode, we'll find out why Hawaii's Okinawan community is fighting for the return of ancestral bones.
Learn about the catastrophe happening right here on campus.
And get a close-up look at some of the best local designs featured at this year's Merry Monarch Festival.
Plus, an exclusive Talk Story session with proud UH alum and soon-to-be retired athletic director David Matlin. Stay with us for this edition of UHMtv.
A recent controversial court decision in Japan is rattling the bones of university researchers and Okinawan families here in Hawaii.
Indigenous rights activists say the remains of their ancestors from World War II should be laid to rest in their homeland instead of in a museum. Okinawans have long been fighting the colonization of their homelands, especially with the recent construction of the U.S. military base in Henoko. During the groundbreaking process, remains from the 1945 Battle of Okinawa were also found mixed in the soil. Today, advocates and archaeologists come to visit the sacred Mumujana tomb in Nakijing, where many of their royalty were buried and whose bones have been dug up and taken away. This continual desecration of sacred lands remains a sore point for the indigenous peoples of Uchina today.
そういうコロニアルヒストリーが沖縄にはあって、その続きの中に今自分たちがいるんだよ。だからわからないんだよっていうのをやっぱり気づいていくしかないんじゃんみんなで。And it's hard, it's painful. 何も難しいことじゃないんじゃない? Everybody should be angry. Everybody should be like really sad and upset.
It is believed that many of these ancestral bones have been sitting in storage within museum collections in both Kyoto and Pennsylvania for over a century. Uchinanchu people say that shows a complete lack of reverence for their ancestors and are adamant to bring their souls home.
骨と思ったことがない。だから骨って漢字で書くと硬い漢字一文字で出てきてなんか無機質な感じがするけど、骨とは絶対思わなくて、それはファミリーメンバーの誰か。
Bones, or funishin, hold a special place in Okinawan culture. Ancestor souls are believed to go to Nirai Kanai, or the afterlife, and through traditions like shimi, family gatherings, obong, honoring the dead, ohaka, family graves, utoto, ancestral rituals, and jishigami, urns, the living stay connected with their ancestors. Similarly, other indigenous cultures, like Native Hawaiians, also believe that iwi, the bones of their kupuna, are sacred and should not be disturbed.
Foreigners came to Hawaii, and they not only took our lands, took our country, took our resources, they also took our ancestors. Ironically, you still see vestiges of the colonial past in the attitudes of many of these institutions that are still holding on to this idea that these are scientific objects, which is to say that they've completely dehumanized them. And by doing that, they've dehumanized us.
For 33 years, this Native Hawaiian community has been actively seeking the return of their ancestors. In 2022, they were able to successfully reclaim nearly 6 remains from museums in Austria and Germany. Okinawans are hoping for the same kind of success with repatriation. In 2018, Uchinanchu activists sued Kyoto University for robbing graves in their homelands and disturbing the eternal rest of their ancestors. However, Kyoto District Court dismissed the case. Now, the Okinawan people are seeking an appeal and demand their voices be heard and justice be served. Much like our own shisa, or spirit guardians, these activists have worked to protect the souls of funishin for years now. But that's not necessarily how Japanese researchers view the issue. Kyoto University argues there's no emotional tie because bones are just physical remnants simply used for research to help them understand a larger worldview.
いうことに対するですね、思いよりもですね、研究を優先したと。研究者にとってこれは分析して、どういうことがわかるのか、ね、そういうためのもの。
But Okinawans believe that's a limited point of view and disrespectful to family values.
What's more important, research or or life, you know, recognizing that somebody is a human being, you know, and respecting that even in their death, they're still a human being.
無視することはできないと思うし、自分の家族のように考えてほしいと思います。
Here in Hawaii, the Okinawan community is committed to doing whatever it takes to return family bones to their rightful resting place, and say they won't give up in honor of their lost loved ones.
No matter what culture you are, you need your kupuna. You know, those are the people, that's your foundation. You know, and without a foundation, who are you? You know, what are you? Are you even anything?
Okinawans have filed an appeal in the case and are still searching for healing.
ビジョンっていうよりかも、how can we heal, right? It's healing どうしていく？今は分からなくても逃げたくても、もう逃げられないのがうちなんちのも運命だから、それ一緒に道はみんなで作っていくしか、歴史を知っていくしかないと思ってるので、それをうるさくずっと言い続けます。
To learn more about the repatriation process of Okinawa, visit the Ukwanshin Kabudan website. For UHMtv, I'm Kaiya Laguardia-Yonamine. Many popular locations in Hawaii have names that did not actually exist in ancient times.
Here at UH, one of the main streets fronting campus is a prime example highlighting this sensitive issue of Hawaiian history, as Hiʻilawe Neves reports.
When walking on the campus of UH Manoa, you're bound to come across the university's main road, Dole Street, which serves as a sour reminder for many Native Hawaiian students, as Sanford B. Dole helped overthrow the Hawaiian monarchy in 1893.
Dole Street also comes with a lot of, the name Dole comes with a lot of history. Not the best history in Hawaii for Hawaiians. So it's just a reminder, you know? It's a reminder every time they drive on it, look at the sign, or, you know, go to school in a place that maybe they don't even feel like supports Hawaiians enough.
The street name was changed by the Hawaiian Provisional Government in order to honor Dole. However, prior to 1954, the street was known as its original Hawaiian name, Kapa'akea Street, named after Queen Liliuokalani's father.
Kapa'akea, that's one of the Inoas of Liliuokalani's makoka'ane, you know? So if you name the place Dole, it's kind of like a slap in the face. But definitely any place name should be the place name of that area.
But this is an issue that goes beyond the UH campus, as places like Diamond Head or Le'ahi and Chinaman's Hat, Mokoli'i, have also had their names changed over the years.
I mean, a lot of Hawaiians don't even know that it's named Mokoli'i. But like even as me, I only learned it when I started going to school for Hawaiian studies.
I try not to refer, or I don't refer to the haole of these places, but they're maoli, they're Hawaiian place names, because within these place names you get mana, you get mo'olelo.
To some, a name change seems insignificant or not worth the effort. No na owiwi, ke kokua nei iahana I ka ho'ulu I ka o'lelo Hawaii.
Our names have mana, so we should ho'omana that names. You know, we should give mana back to those names. People should embrace the change, or change maoli, or how it should be back, you know? It should be named the original name. So yeah, some people might say I get hassles, but yeah, it's life. Life will get struggles.
Earlier this year, community activists in Kualoa worked to restore the name Mokoli'i on Google Maps.
True hula, true mo'olelo, these names live. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that get places that are being renamed their maoli, right?
The restoration of the name Mokoli'i is just one small step to restoring all of the original Hawaiian place names in all of the islands.
I hope eventually one day we can get to that point where the names are restored. I think that we shouldn't stop pushing for this change, and I guess just continue bringing it up in conversations and just talk about it more, because bringing it to attention can do a lot. So hopefully we can get there.
For UHMtv, I'm Hiʻilawe Neves.
When we come back, how UH is addressing the wild cat population here on campus and around the state.
And how international students bring their own experiences from the world to Manoa. These stories and much more on UHMtv when we return.
I chose UH Manoa's College of Social Sciences because it inspires me to be bold and unafraid, to stand out, speak up, defend, and question.
It's about being in my element, being engaged, and being part of something great.
At the College of Social Sciences, we empower students to explore their interests, discover what they excel in, and learn how to apply their knowledge outside the classroom. Visit us today and learn more about us, because life is not one-dimensional and your college degree shouldn't be.
Welcome back to UHMtv. The overpopulation problem of feral cats around Hawaii is stirring up a cat fight at the state capitol.
As Megumi Sakuta tells us, the debate about how to approach this ongoing issue is far from perfect.
Free-roaming cats are posing invasive problems for humans and animals in Hawaii. Currently, there are no laws in place to stop them from multiplying. Some proposals at the Capitol have included possible solutions such as designating state land for wildcat sanctuaries and funding for trap, neuter, and release.
We really do want to encourage the community to support spay-neuter efforts for a multitude of reasons. One is pet overpopulation. We have the free-roaming cat population who we would like to reduce over time through humane means, and that really is, spay-neuter is key to making sure that we can accomplish that goal.
Environmentalists have also been calling for more protection on endangered native species. As predatory animals, these cats have contributed in the extinction of 33 species in Hawaii. They also continue to threaten native birds and Hawaiian monk seals.
So toxoplasmosis is a disease caused by a parasite. The parasite's name is Toxoplasma gondii.
These parasites reproduce inside the cat's bodies, leaving infected eggs that are eventually passed on to the environment through their feces.
The parasite can sort of damage any number of tissues and organs inside the monk seal and make them very sick very quickly, and then it's very deadly.
Currently, at University of Hawaii at Manoa, they are looking at ways to solve this issue by teaching students about One Health. The One Health program offers classes that teach human, animal, and environmental issues surrounding toxoplasmosis.
Physicians and veterinarians and public health people need to work together to address from many different angles the problem of toxoplasmosis.
We need to understand that we are all different and listen to each other in order to hopefully seek some kind of common ground so that we can at least start to address some of these complex issues that we are facing here on the islands.
While talks continue, UH Manoa is doing its part to manage the problem through a policy that prohibits abandoning and feeding cats on campus. For UHMtv, I'm Megumi Sakuta.
While many of our feline friends feel UH is their home, another community is also finding comfort on campus.
We talked to several international students who are making their way from the world to Manoa.
I don't know if you'll like it.
UHMtv launched a brand new podcast this semester called From the World to Manoa. It's a chance to speak to international students about their different perspectives and how they are experiencing UH Manoa. About 1,000 students enrolled at UHM come from foreign countries including Taiwan, England, and Australia.
It's very diverse here, and you can learn from different culture and you can see things in a different perspective. Everyone was very nice, and they understand that English is not your first language, so they won't push you.
UH offers many programs to help these students adjust to campus life and connect with the host culture and community.
I've met a lot of people from all over the world, and as I said before, they have a lot of organizations which help you meet those people because it's such a big campus. It might be kind of difficult at first.
Many international students are attracted to the University of Hawaii at Manoa because of its wide range of diversity across campus. Interviewing various voices on the show also helps visiting students share their stories while giving local students an insight to other cultures outside Hawaii.
It's to give all international students, to let them know that they're not alone, even though coming here may be hard and it's hard transitioning at first. But as you get used to it and know that there are a lot of other international students that are also here, will really benefit a lot.
The show was a really nice way to talk about my experience and get that out there. And I think it's a great way for other people to watch that and see that if they're prospective students, they'll see that there are people like them here and they know what to expect.
Other programs on campus, such as the Manoa International Exchange, also helps foreign students find a safe space to explore and discover their world from Manoa. For UHMtv, I'm Trevor Reed.
When we come back, we'll touch base with a distinguished UH alum, retiring athletic director David Matlin.
All this and more on UHMtv.
Welcome back to UHMtv. Every semester, we like to honor our alumni and learn how their UH experiences have shaped their lives, and in some cases, take them back to Manoa.
Zoar Nedd has this exclusive interview with David Matlin and the legacy he leaves for UH athletics.
David Matlin is a longtime veteran of the Hawaii sports industry. As a graduate of the Shidler College of Business, he spent many years running his own local company and managing the famous Hawaii Bowl and Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. In 2015, he became the University of Hawaii's 23rd athletic director and helped transform the UH athletics program by overseeing the renovation of many facilities, including the new construction of Manoa's very first official football stadium.
Today, we're excited to talk with UH Athletic Director David Matlin. It's good to see you on this side of campus, and welcome to UHMtv.
It's great to be here, Zoar. Excited to be doing this with you.
It's been a busy couple of years for you. What's going through your mind as you get ready for retirement?
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of emotions with this job. Really, my real goal is just to kind of finish strong.
Right.
There's a lot of initiatives we want to get through before I leave, and just end on a good note, and what I just call end well.
Now, were you always interested in having sports as your career?
Yeah, you know, my dad worked in professional baseball for 43 years. And I saw that it kept him young, and you know, that he loved what he did. It made his heart sing. So when I finished at college, I decided to go work for the Houston Astros baseball club.
Can you talk a little bit about your experience as a student here at UH?
Yeah, well, when I first moved back here, I worked in the University of Hawaii ticket office, in the athletic department ticket office, and I got my master's at the Shidler College, before it was the Shidler College. Yeah. It was a great experience. I mean, I was kind of new to the community, so met a lot of people, picked up some new skills, so that was very impactful to my career. It really helped me with this job quite a bit.
With that, you've worn so many hats as in sports. Can you talk a little bit about your pivot into being a UH athletic director?
Well, like I said, I worked in professional sports, the Houston Astros, worked here collegiately at University of Hawaii, and then I spent 13 years working with ESPN, creating events, the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl at the time and the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic that you played in.
Yes.
And then from that, the opportunity came available in 2015, and honestly, I applied 1 minute before the job because I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, but I'm glad I did apply and receive the job.
And we're happy to have you all these years. You know, there's been a lot of ups and downs throughout your career. One of the moments that I can think of off the top of my head is just the year of COVID and how difficult that was. I know how that was for me as a student. Yeah. Can you just talk a little bit about how that was as an athletic director?
The real tough thing about COVID is you're running an athletic department where team building and being together is so important, and we had to stop that. We had to keep people socially distanced. And we knew that would have consequences, whether it be mental health or on other issues. So it was, and plus the fun part of the job is being around, being at events, and that went away for pretty much a year.
The volleyball team has had a lot of success in recent years. Can you kind of share with us one of your favorite moments as being an athletic director?
You know, the favorite moments are really when you sit down one-on-one with a student athlete. I mean, we've met several times, maybe helping career counsel someone or writing a recommendation for them for a program. Okay. But, you know, the events are fun. You know, the events are fun. I mean, winning the Diamond Head Classic event that I created before I got here, winning that this year was special. Just the way our volleyball teams do, men's, women, and, you know, the thing that's most satisfying is the impact that our student athletes have in the community by being role models, not just playing for their team or the university, but really playing for the whole state and making an impact for the children of tomorrow.
So, as you know, the search for a replacement is on. Any thoughts on who should fill your shoes?
Yeah, well, I'm staying away from who, but I think the important thing is, you know, whoever takes this job, they really have to do what they believe is right, even knowing that tomorrow they might get kicked in the teeth for the decision. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's important to, you know, just kind of follow your conscience and do what you believe is right, and that's hard. that's hard, but also the person has to just have a love for this place.
You know, you've had such a great career as an athletic director, so many other things that you're into. We just kind of want to know what's next.
Yeah, well, after 30 years of working in sports management, I do know there's something else for me. I want to take a little bit of time, 3 months to maybe 6 months to maybe a year, to figure out what that is. Start exercising a little more. What's next for me is just get a little healthier, and get back to reading a lot, not just for work, but for pleasure and for personal development. But I think there's something else out there. My wife and I were kind of up for an adventure. We don't know what that will be, but I know it's out there.
That's great stuff. I'm excited for what the next chapters are for you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come and visit us at the studio, and we wish you all the best in retirement. Thank you so much for being with us today on UHMtv.
When we come back, see how these local artists are perpetuating Hawaiian roots with these cultural creations.
And we'll have a special mahalo to the class of 2023. Stay with us on UHMtv.
Welcome back to UHMtv. The famous annual Merry Monarch Festival brings many talented musicians, dancers, and designers to Hilo, Hawaii.
Our own Kalawaiʻa Nunes was at the festival this year, checking out the latest and greatest local artisans.
The annual Merry Monarch Festival attracts artists of all ages, from the hula to the mele, and even the pa'ina in between. Behind the scenes, there's another show happening at the Kako'o Hawaii Market, where some 50 vendors strut their stuff to a sold-out crowd, and Merry Monarch fans are happy to wear and share their aloha.
Local businesses have that little touch of Hawaiian in all of their products, and I like that it's more personalized for this pai'aina.
Waiolu Creations Hawaii is a UH alum-owned business that specializes in gentle and pleasing everyday wear. With small businesses, owners are given the opportunity to share Ike Hawaii, Hawaiian knowledge, and mo'olelo stories. Many small businesses are grounded in storytelling through their craft. Products like gibbets and stickers are a part of sharing their Hawaiian culture to the world.
It also means that the Kaiya ulu that you live in, the community that you live in, has a chance to grow and thrive. Supporting small gives me products that are tailored more towards local or things in Hawaii. So when I choose to give gifts, it's more so like mea Hawaii. And a lot of the small businesses that I support have that mea Hawaii that I like.
Other businesses like Kahulale'a feature beautiful wearable art that showcase rare native Hawaiian flowers, such as the Ohia Lehua. Ka'ua Moaniani Lehua o Puna is a print designed to highlight the story of Puna, Hawaii, and how hala and Ohia Lehua trees attract rains into the forest. So the next time Merry Monarch rolls around, check out the amazing performances on stage as well as the latest and greatest local fashions. For UHMtv, I'm Kalawaiʻa Nunes.
Before we say goodbye, we also want to congratulate the class of 2023, all of whom are graduating with us.
Yeah, congratulations, everyone. Our Dean of the College of Social Sciences recently visited our digital studios and brings this special message for the graduates.
Aloha, I'm Denise Conan, Dean of the College of Social Sciences at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Today, I am excited and honored to celebrate you, the graduates from the class of 2023. Spring is all about new beginnings, and you are poised to make a fresh start in a new chapter of your life. Through all the challenges and obstacles, you made it, and I am so proud of your accomplishments. As you take the next step into designing your dreams, I hope you can apply the lessons learned from our wonderful team of professors, advisors, and mentors, and create the life you truly desire. You deserve it. We believe in you. Congratulations, class of 2023. Welcome to our CSS Alumni Ohana.
Well, this wraps up the 31st edition of UHMtv. Mahalo for watching. I'm Trevor Reed.
And I'm Kaiya Laguardia-Yonamine. For more information, please visit our YouTube channel. Until next time,
Aloha.